Recently, a devastating earthquake in Afghanistan ended the physical existence of more than 1,000 people and wreaked havoc on the infrastructure. It was the deadliest earthquake to hit Afghanistan in 2 decades. The energy released was around 37 times that of the atomic bomb dropped on Hiroshima. Tremors were felt even 500 kilometers away in Pakistan and India. The earthquake originated near the Afghan city of Khost, which is close to the country's border with Pakistan. In this video, we will learn about the reason behind the frequent occurrence of earthquakes in Afghanistan. Let's start. The word quake means to shake or tremble. So when the earth's surface shakes intensely, we call it an earthquake. But why does that happen? To know that, we will have to look at the earth's 4 basic layers: crust, mantle, outer core and inner core. The crust and the uppermost mantle are together called the lithosphere. We can understand it as the skin around an orange. However, the lithosphere is not a single piece. It is not continuous. Instead, it is made up of fractured shapes that appear like a jigsaw puzzle. These fractured shapes are called tectonic plates. Each tectonic plate can move independently. Their motion can be described in 4 general patterns. First, they can come together and collide. Second, they can get pushed apart. Third, the denser plate can subduct beneath the lighter one. Or, fourth, they can slide past each other. These different motions result in various physical features such as mountain ranges and trenches. Below these large rocky tectonic plates, there is a viscous lower mantle layer. The viscosity of the mantle varies with depth and temperature. The mantle is solid due to extremely high pressure below the crust. Due to high temperature, this hot solid layer gains plasticity. And because of that, it flows and deforms slowly over millions of years. This is why we say that the tectonic plates are floating over the partially molten layer of hot flowing rock. Remember that the mantle is not liquid, it is solid, but acts like a viscous fluid over a time scale of millions of years. But what is driving these plates? We know that the main sources of Earth's internal heat are radioactive decay and the residual heat from its formation. Heat results in the melting of rocks. Less dense molten material keeps rising, spreading out, cooling and sinking. This is known as the convection cycle. The tremendous heat and pressure cause the molten material to flow from the core to the surface in convection currents. These convection currents in the Earth's mantle explain the movement of the tectonic plates. So we studied why tectonic plates are constantly moving on the slowly flowing mantle layer. Hence we can say that beneath the solid crust, there is a constant shift and movement. The boundary between tectonic plates is called a fault. It is the surface where the tectonic plates slip. Since the plates are moving continuously, it is inevitable that they will get caught on each other. So because of this slow but constant movement, the tectonic plates get stuck at their edges due to friction. Basically, they lock. But they are still moving despite the locking. Stress builds up over time when a fault is locked. When the stress on the edge overcomes the friction, the fault ruptures and energy is released abruptly. It travels in powerful waves through the Earth's crust and causes the intense shaking we call an earthquake. The longer the length and wider the width of the faulted area, the larger will be the magnitude of the earthquake. Thus, we have studied the basics of how an earthquake occurs. Now let us address our main question. Why do earthquakes occur frequently in Afghanistan? The answer lies in the geography of Afghanistan. Afghanistan is a mountainous country since the mountainous terrain covers most of its landscape. In Afghanistan, the Arabian, Indian and Eurasian tectonic plates meet. These tectonic plates create earthquakes when they shift against each other at their borders. Look at the directions of their movement. The Eurasian plate collides with the Arabian plate on the south and the Indian plate to the southeast. Note that the Indian plate is moving northwards. It collides with the Eurasian plate. Afghanistan is situated on the southern periphery of the Eurasian plate, and the boundary between the Indian and Eurasian plates exists near Afghanistan's border with Pakistan. This is the reason why the northeastern region of Afghanistan is one of the most seismically hazardous regions on Earth. This picture is from the official website of the National Centre for Seismology, which comes under the Ministry of Earth Sciences, Government of India. We can see that Afghanistan is located on top of a number of fault lines. We have studied that fractures or fault lines occur where the plates collide. The collisions between the Indian and Eurasian plate results in shaking and squeezing of the ground upwards. This movement not only causes earthquakes but also creates mountains like the Hindu Kush mountain ranges in Afghanistan. The Hindu Kush mountainous region is a part of the Alpide Belt, which is the second most seismically active region after the Pacific Ring of Fire. But why do earthquakes cause relatively higher destruction in Afghanistan? To understand this, we will have to know the difference between the magnitude and intensity of an earthquake. The magnitude of the earthquake means the size of the earthquake. It is the quantitative measure of the amount of seismic energy at the source of the earthquake. We use the Richter magnitude scale to measure the magnitude of the earthquake. The recent earthquake in Afghanistan had a magnitude of 6.1, which makes it a strong earthquake. Intensity indicates the effect of the earthquake on people and their surroundings. We use the modified Mercalli intensity scale to denote the relation between the intensity of shaking at the ground level and the degree of damage. Magnitude remains unchanged with distance from the earthquake. However, intensity varies over the area experiencing an earthquake. The place where the earthquake originates is called the hypocenter, and the place where it occurs on the Earth's surface is called the epicenter. Obviously, if the region is closer to the epicenter, it will shake more violently. So we see high intensity values near the epicenter, and the value goes on decreasing as the distance from the epicenter increases. Mountains are generally hazardous places. Geohazards other than earthquakes in the Hindu Kush Himalayas are nicely represented in this picture. One of the risks in this region is flooding. Because of flooding, people build their houses up the hill. Earthquakes trigger landslides in mountainous regions with unstable soils. In places having a higher concentration of population, it results in the loss of several lives and severe damage to infrastructure. Also, the roads get closed due to landslides. Because of this, sometimes it takes several days for authorities to even receive the news about the disaster. Along with hostile weather conditions, these factors make the rescue job extremely difficult. Mud brick homes and landslide-prone mountains are a bad combination. Unreinforced masonry and weak concrete are a recipe for destruction. We can find these easily in Afghanistan. River stones are held together with some kind of mortar. When the ground shakes due to an earthquake, the mortar weakens and the roof comes down. The complete collapse of the structure results in a higher death toll. Moreover, the timing of the earthquake is also a factor. Obviously, if it hits during the night when people are sleeping, the chances of death are high. Hence, the low level of socio-economic development and the weak infrastructure in Afghanistan increases the country's vulnerability to disasters. Moreover, the remote mountain villages make it difficult for emergency rescue teams to reach. Also, the rise of the Taliban has resulted in the isolation of Afghanistan in the global arena. This leads to a delay in global aid. What can be the solution? Simple. Proper construction material, the appropriate type of construction, and suitable choice of the construction site. Building earthquake-resistant structures and retrofitting existing buildings is the key. Engineers from different countries can teach Afghani people how to build better houses cheaply. This region is in dire need of expertise and funding for making earthquake-proof engineered buildings. We need concerted efforts to make communities more resilient. With this, I will take your leave. Goodbye and thank you for your time.